There are several types of mold that can be found in homes and apartments. Most grow when there is some sort of constant moisture on a surface, like wood or drywall. And mold can also impact your health. According to the CDC, mold can cause symptoms such as sneezing, coughing, red eyes, post-nasal drip, and nasal congestion. It can also trigger or worsen asthma. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here on News Center Maine at 5:30. I'm Zach Blanchard.
And I'm Chris Costa. Several families renting apartments managed by the nonprofit Avesta Housing say they're dealing with mold that keeps coming back. And they say they want more support from the state.
News Center 8's Caroline LaCour joins us live from the Avesta Housing headquarters in Portland to explain. Caroline.
Yeah, being paid for by Avesta Housing behind me, a handful of folks have been living out of hotels for the past couple of months due to those reoccurring mold problems, and tenants ask us if the situation could be relieved any better.
Our safety is something that I've had to fight for years now. Our health, our well-being.
This hotel in Scarborough is home to a handful of families for the next upcoming weeks, or what could be even longer, as they deal with mold in their apartments almost an hour away.
No one can help us. I want to know why. Why do I have to do this on my own?
We met up with tenant Ashley Emery, who has dealt with mold at her unit at Pinewood Apartments in Parsonsfield for months. The units are owned by Avesta Housing.
I got the air quality test in June of 2023 that showed mold levels high enough for it to be dangerous.
Emery says maintenance did displace her to take care of the mold, but only weeks after testing. After moving back home last November, the mold came back in December.
And they found high levels of cladosporium mold in the heat pump itself and in the hallway.
Other tenants we spoke with who wanted to remain anonymous say they've dealt with similar scenarios. One claims it took 2 months after they reported mold to get an air quality test result, and another 2 months for the issue to be resolved.
The goal is removing the mold, not just cleaning it or killing it.
Maine Indoor Air Quality Council Executive Director Christy Crocker says when dealing with a mold problem, finding and stopping the cause of moisture is the first step to prevention, and doing so promptly.
So landlords and tenants have this shared responsibility and this common goal.
It's terrifying, and we don't have any guidance. We don't have any support. We don't have any help. There's no legal advice. No resources that we can find.
With few answers or little heads up when work is being done, Emery and other tenants say they feel as though the issue isn't being taken care of thoughtfully.
Listening to my children cough in their sleep every night really isn't the most joyous activity that I participate in.
She and others hope to see state protocols and broader support statewide for tenants and landlords when it comes to dealing with mold problems.
We deserve to live in a healthy home, and we deserve to have some guidance on how to do that.
Now, we reached out to Avesta Housing about this situation and received a statement from a representative saying, in part, quote, since we became aware of mold problems at Pinewood Apartments, we have taken aggressive measures to address them. And they go on to say, quote, we will continue to work diligently to take appropriate corrective measures until full remediation of each affected unit has been achieved. Chris and Zach, back to you.
All right, Caroline LaCour live in downtown Portland tonight. Thanks so much.
Lawyers for 15 more children and their families are now working to join a class action lawsuit against Seattle Children's. Their attorney says they were also exposed to deadly aspergillus mold there. At least 7 patients have died from infections linked to the mold. The King 5 investigators found the problem went even farther back than the hospital initially admitted. The complaint alleges between 2000 and 2019, the hospital didn't notify the public, doctors, nurses, or patients about problems with its ventilation system. Even after children were infected, the hospital reportedly concealed its responsibility. With the help of a translator, we heard from the family of Ana Hernandez, who died after aspergillus was discovered inside her brain after surgery at Seattle Children's.
Puede pasarle a otras familias.
For us, it's very important so nobody else goes through the same situation than we went through. They wish no other kids go through the same situation.
4 lawsuits have been settled, but 19 cases remain.
On that later. Meanwhile, tonight, a Homewood mother is looking for relief after she says her moldy apartment landed her and her daughter in the hospital.
That mom called CBS 42 to get some answers, telling reporter Jamie Ostroff that management at the apartment complex has not done enough to help. Jamie is joining us now live at the park at Buckingham Apartments, where all of this is allegedly going on. Jamie?
Lee, Faye Carr James has been living here for a couple of months now with her 12-year-old daughter. And this mom used to work in hotel management. She used to rent properties for a living, she says. So given her experience, she is convinced that this mold problem is being handled very inappropriately. Faye Carr James and her daughter Amaya have been living at the park at Buckingham since early September. But this apartment has never felt like home. In fact, they still haven't unpacked.
It's mold everywhere.
These are just a few of the pictures Faye took before maintenance came in.
It's a real musty smell, like really musty.
And sprayed the mold with bleach.
I said, well, spraying is not going to get it because if it's mold, you're going to have to replace that sheetrock.
But the problem goes beyond the musty smell.
She's highly allergic. She has severe asthma, so this is like a life or death matter. My little girl just last week was rushed to the hospital. She had to be stabilized. And it breaks my heart because as a mother, it's my job to protect her and make sure that she's safe.
Finally, Faye says, complex management agreed to move her to a different apartment. Weeks later, they found her a place.
I said, well, okay, that's fine. Let me go ahead and get the movers together. I just need to walk the property first.
The next day, that apartment was rented to someone else, and so was Faye's. So not only is she stuck.
This is not right. You shouldn't rent a unit when you know that it's a health issue just for revenue. That's not right.
Now, of course, there is more than one side to every story, and I did give the park at Buckingham's management a call earlier today. I did not hear back after I left a message, but of course, we understand that we do understand that sometimes these things do take time. So in that case, we are going to wait and give the management a chance to tell their side of the story, and at that point, we will share that with you. Live in Homewood, Jamie Ostroff, CBS 42 News.
Private college in Delaware County is getting ready to welcome students back to campus. But as Ohio Wesleyan University opens up, the main library will stay closed. It's because of mold. NBC4's Isabel Cleary shows us what's going on there.
Jared, this 60-year-old library will stay closed for the next academic year. To reopen, a lot is going to have to change, and right now there are more questions than answers.
I'd heard that there were some issues last year kind of with the library and that we're working on fixing it.
Katie Lucas will be studying in a different space this year at Ohio Wesleyan. It's because of mold. Staff at the university have been dealing with heat and humidity issues in the Beagley Library for years.
We had brought in some industrial dehumidifiers and taken some other steps to try to control that environment, but we weren't getting it to where we needed it to be.
Then they found mold.
There is always a potential that someone has a mold allergy or something like that, but the real concern is not being able to control that environment and then the health of the library collection. We knew that we had to decide what was our next chapter.
There are a lot of questions about what that next chapter will look like and how much it will cost.
We have a lot of work ahead of us. There's about 276,200 books in that building.
Now it's about deciding what to do with the building and which books can be saved.
Once we look at that, we have to figure out, are we going to clean them? Are we going to repurchase them?
The university is moving printers, computers, and some desks to this space in another building to make sure students have the resources they need during the school year.
Yes, it will be missed, but it's not going to be completely nowhere to go without it.
The university's president sent an email to students letting them know about the library's closure. He said that it was for the health and safety of students and staff on the campus. Local for you in Delaware County, I'm Isabel Cleary, NBC4.